Hi, my name is Keith Cooper, and this short video is a quick look at the BenQ Sw271. It's a wide gamut 27-inch 4K monitor. It's quite a nice monitor. I've actually got a detailed written review of this monitor that I did a couple of years ago, long before I started making videos. The main reason I've not included it in videos is that until just recently, my wife Karen, who also works at Northlight Images, used this as her main editing monitor. Now, she's now got a nice big iMac, and I'm told that the desk is not big enough for the iMac, and this is a second monitor, so it's come back down for me to use for my work, and it works very nicely with my MacBook, and it's an oldish MacBook Pro, but it does drive this. Now, it's a 27-inch monitor, wide gamut near Adobe 98, is a hardware calibrated monitor. Now, hardware calibration means that the profile that is created during the calibration process, because it's calibration and profiling, the profile that lives on your computer tells the software what the characteristics of the monitor are. The calibration is setting the monitor to a known state. So for normal editing, I would use this monitor, and this is set at D65 or 6500K. They're similar but not quite the same. And it's been set with that. I've calibrated it and profiled it using an i1 display here, calibrator. That's a USB device, plugs into one of the two USB sockets at the side, and that allows me to run it. The calibrator comes down. The software to use for hardware calibrated monitors, I would say use the software that the monitor manufacturer makes. So that's Palette Master from BenQ. Works fine on Mac, presumably PCs as well, but I don't use PCs. That sets it up. Now this is set up for a brightness of around about 120K. About 120 candelas per square meter. You'll see the number in the settings. You can customize it, and in normal editing work I would have that lower because I wouldn't edit photos in a room this brightly lit. In particular, it's a sunny day, so I've got light being reflected off a wall coming in through a window. A few others, I've got halogen replacement bulbs. It's quite a mix. Now, I would normally have this set to about 100, and you can, in the software, you can set it to 100, you can adjust that. Now, so it's a setup, it's a basic monitor. What features has it got that's useful? Well, it does have quite a few inputs. Now, I don't normally use these very often. I have plugged a Amazon Fire Stick into it, which is a 4K video source, and had 4K video either in a little window, picture in picture, or as a full display. It works very nicely from a picture quality. Sound is another matter if you're using something like that, but I wouldn't normally be using this. You can connect this HDMI or DisplayPort, which is what I'm using. I've also got it set up so the HDMI, or one of the HDMI inputs, because there's two, is connected to this camera here, Canon 5DS. Now, if I change the input, which I can either go via the screen here, so I can send this to, let's go to HDMI 2, and hopefully there is the display of the camera, and just put it into live view, and we've got a view of the other direction. This is Karen's Mac Pro, which was replaced by the iMac, and that's what's driving this monitor at the moment. And there is, oh yes, I can see myself on a display. There's the camera photographing this, and there is some other items, some other parts of our studio, or kitchen as it's sometimes called. That's using HDMI. I can just change to that, go back to the input, to DisplayPort. can use USB-C on it for more modern equipment. So if I had a Mac Mini or something like that, I could connect this either via the USB-C, or I could do the HDMI, or I could use the DisplayPort. There's a number of ways of connecting stuff up. But so we've got a monitor set up. Karen's used it for a few years, and there are no problems there's no sort of non-linearity, there are no warm patches or cold patches. For video use like this, I would calibrate it to a different temperature. Now, one of the things, it comes with this little sort of control puck underneath, and that allows you to have multiple calibrations. So for normal use, I have like an editing setup. I have where I edit my videos, I have the monitor set up to do REC 709. That's a video standard. So that helps when I'm trying to edit videos. I can also, and I've used this on another monitor, I can set what is a very warm calibration. Now this, I've calibrated the monitor to 4000K. Now there's no way you would normally edit on 4K. However, and I will find this out when I edit this particular bit of video, this warm colour here, perhaps not today with I've got the bright light coming in through the window, but this will normally give a better look on video. And it's one of those things that if you're going to be demoing things and it's going to go on video, it can make it easier setting it to a custom calibration that is very low. It looks, to me, it looks warm and it looks wrong. However, video is not what it looks to me. It's about how it comes out and editing. So if that's the very warm setting I've got for video, if I go back to, that's Adobe 98. Which probably on the video comes out rather on the blue side. I don't know, it depends how the camera's playing with the white balance in this instance. We're not particularly sophisticated video recording equipment here, but that's that setting. You can have other bits, so if I want, I can switch it to black and white. It has a quick black and white preview mode. I very rarely use this because I'm normally working in black and white images on a colour screen. I'm a bit more careful about the tonal balance, how the colours mix up to make the grayscale. But for a quick estimate of what something's going to look like, that's that. So we go back to that's calibration 1, calibration 2, that's the warm calibration. There are several other bits you can use for this. So I can do bits with, and this is where I have to remember the menu. You can customize functions and add them to the controls here on this if you use them a lot. And I will now show how rarely I use this effect. Picture in picture. So I've now got a little window which shows me the output from the camera there. Now this is physically a window that is fit on the screen. You can't move it round, you can't access things behind it, you can't see what's behind it. So if I move my mouse, the mouse just disappears whilst it's in that area. It's still active. So remember, you're just seeing two video sources superimposed. This is not a window as it would be on the computer itself. So there's the view for that, and I can switch that, I can change the size of that, I can move it about, have it where you like, all kinds of things like that. Not a function I've ever used very often. I have done once or twice when doing demos for people, when showing people aspects of product photography. It just helps explain a few things, but it's just a very nice feature. But really, the key thing is it's a very nice monitor. It's a 4K monitor, it's wide gamut, no problems whatsoever. Comes with a nice monitor hood, and that is very useful. Keep the shading for that. Karen's had no problems in using it. It's an excellent monitor. The only question I would say, if you're using a monitor this size on a Mac, now this is running 1013 High Sierra, if I remember rightly. Should be from the screensaver here, or background shot. Now, is 4K too much detail? Now I look at this in some aspects in the actual written review, but personally, if I'm going to use 4K on a Mac like this, because of the very small text and my eyesight, unless I'm working quite close, which I wouldn't normally with a large monitor, for 4K I prefer a larger monitor. And that's definitely where I would prefer the Sw271 that I looked at recently, the 32-inch monitor. Physically very similar. I say this is a slightly older model. Have a look at what I've written as well if you're thinking of other monitors. I don't do detailed monitor tests. The equipment you need to do really accurate monitor testing is phenomenally expensive, and if anyone tells you they're measuring monitor accuracy with one of these or a spider or something like that, then the instrument is not accurate enough. Now, there are other calibrations and things associated with this. If you want it for specific video use, Technicolor accreditation and things like that, have a look at the written review. It's got far more info in it. Anyway, hope that's interesting. If you've got any questions, let me know. But as I say, this is really just to give a guide to the written article I did a while ago that's got all the main specs and everything in. So, hope that's been of interest. Please do subscribe to the channel, and thank you.